Most of us believe a simple contract. If you're endlessly generous, people will eventually notice and repay you with love. But look at almost any social circle, and you'll find the most accommodating person is often the most overlooked. They aren't the one the group leans on for leadership. They are the one the group expects to carry the bags. This creates a cycle where we keep giving more, thinking we just haven't hit the right amount yet. We treat our kindness as currency, assuming that if we spend enough, we can buy loyalty. But often, that expected return of affection never materializes. Constant people-pleasing creates a strange dynamic, where the more you do for others, the less they feel the need to value your individual presence. A donkey named Dio lived in a valley where he believed his willingness to serve was his greatest asset. He was at the gate every morning before the sun rose, eager to be useful to anyone who asked. He spent his days carrying heavy wood for the horse, pulling the goat's cart through the mud, and standing for hours in the heat to guard the cow's fence. He walked with his head high, convinced that being needed by everyone was the same as being loved by them. But with every favor, Dio was losing a part of himself. His meals grew smaller because he gave them away, and his body grew weaker because he never rested. He was trading his health for a smile that no one else was actually looking at. He kept going because he believed that if he could just cross an invisible threshold of effort, his place in their hearts would finally be secure. In reality, Dio was teaching the other animals that his time and energy were worth nothing because he gave them away as if they were an infinite free resource. The breaking point came on a morning when Dio's legs were trembling so hard he could barely stand. He hadn't eaten since the day before. But when the horse arrived with another load of wood, Dio did what he always did. He said yes. He dragged that load across the valley in agony. When he finally returned, he collapsed onto the hard ground, his breath coming in heavy gasps. He lay there, waiting for the animals he had served to finally step in and take care of him. But the valley was full of noise and life, and no one stopped. The horse laughed with his friends, and the goat ate fresh grass with her children. Not a single animal came to check if Dio was even still breathing. In the silence of that abandonment, Dio had to face a painful question. Did they love him for who he was, or did they only love the convenience he provided? When an endless giver finally breaks down, those who had spent years taking rarely stop to help them. They are more likely to simply step over the body and look for another source of help. There is a massive gap between being useful and being respected. One is based on what you do, the other on who you are. They used him because his lack of boundaries made him the path of least resistance. The next morning, when the horse came to his door with more wood, Dio didn't move. He looked at the horse and said no. The world didn't end. The horse looked confused for a moment, then simply carried his own wood. The goat pulled her own cart. The valley functioned perfectly without him. We often tell ourselves that our constant giving makes us indispensable. Usually, we are just making it easy for others to avoid doing their own work. Dio began to live differently. He ate his own food first. He rested his body when it was tired. He protected his own time before he even considered helping someone else. As he became less available, a strange shift occurred. When you stop saying yes to everything, the value of your yes actually starts to rise. Like a scarce resource, when you set a price on your time, you command respect. The other animals noticed the change. Dio wasn't angry or cold, he was simply solid. He no longer seemed desperate for their approval, and because of that, they stopped treating him like a tool. You cannot convince others to value your time if you have already demonstrated that you don't value it yourself. In time, the animals in the valley showed Dio more genuine respect than they ever had when he was doing their chores. They realized he was a sovereign being, not a servant. The world will take whatever you are willing to give away for free, but it rarely stops to thank the source. It is only when you stand firm that people begin to see your true weight. Genuine respect is not something you earn by exhausting yourself for others. It is something you command by knowing what you are worth and having the courage to protect it.